You're live, it says. All right, where are we? 1 minute to go. Oh, maybe a little bit less. Have that just in case. Leave that up there. Where are we? 7 o'clock. Cool. All right. Kia ora, g'day. Whoever's there, not there. Hopefully your Friday, hopefully your week has been awesome so far and you're looking forward to the weekend, Friday. So have a great weekend. Where are we? A few things. I'm just going to scroll through these. So a few queries coming through. Oh, actually, not before we get to the queries. What's coming up? Giving people a bit of an update on that. Now, some people might have seen some stuff going up, but yeah, creating and populating the school community at the moment with regards to content and information. So stuff that isn't on the YouTube. I have created and made some shorts and stuff for some of those videos that are on there, and yeah, and uploaded them. So there's a welcome video, and then 3. It says course. They're not courses. It's not a course. It's content, information, resources that candidates who are genuine about looking to go on selection, whenever that is, at a future date and time, can go and access information and stuff in there, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, creating content for that. Specifically, as I said, just reading off the list here, intended for those looking to do NZ or Australian selection, whenever that is in the future. So breaking down some of the specifics. So just for context for this live, in regards to prep, mistakes, successes, some reflections, performance under pressure, tools, and all that sort of stuff, and things that may help. Actually, just before I carry on reading down this list here, that came about because there's been a number of people that have been kind enough that have sent through messages saying, well, encouraging me for similar things, to look at either adding more levels or whatever on the channel memberships, or treating it more like a business in a nutshell. So that the part about the business probably didn't resonate with me at first when I read the messages, but I understood that they were coming from a good place from those. And the other comments in and around it were from those same, group of people that mentioned that the content that I put out, they think that it's valuable, and that it's been helpful for them. Some of them not even ever going to do selection, but have found it helpful for themselves and just how they look at things or how they're doing things at the moment. So that's pretty cool to hear. But in particular, from some of those that have reached out that are preparing for selection, who have just been kind enough and open and honest, and said that they would be happy to contribute or pay for some of the time that I put into some of the stuff that I put in there. So that's really nice, eh? So that's just to give a bit of context there. And the couple of other people that I've spoken to have asked, so that's part of why the other channel is up as well, that SAS Reality Check channel, second one, have asked why don't I keep it more broad and just do it as a SF, because there might be people from the UK or from America or wherever that might be preparing for the Special Forces as well. Quite frankly, I think I just need to stay in my lane. So I know nothing about the American process and how that pipeline works. I know nothing about, well, I know through second and third hand information about some of the stuff in the UK, but yeah, and that's why I don't talk about it other than referring people to Big Phil Campion or Billy Billingham and those sorts of people, Chris Ryan and other people. So people that have walked that path in UK that have got information out and up about it, then they're the sort of people that they should be looking to. So those in the States and whatever in the UK. So yeah, just keeping it quite narrow. And I understood where they were coming from. They're saying it's because it's pretty narrow. It's a small market, and in New Zealand and Australia, yeah, so what? For me, I don't care. That's where my experience is, And even though some stuff has definitely changed and they've evolved and they've done a lot of things since my time, there's still a lot of stuff that's very, very relevant, and that's from speaking with guys that are still in and guys that, and both sides of the Tasman, and guys that are recently out and that have been out for a while as well. So I think there's still value there, and so far it's been helpful with a few people. So we'll see how we go, and that's the context, and that's the reason why it's just why I'm staying in my lane basically. Um, what do we got? Yeah, I spoke about that. Yeah, but so there'll be quite a lot of information in school that I more than likely won't put on YouTube, other than little shorts or clips and things like that. Um, and that's yeah, I suppose not really because it's super sensitive, but that's I suppose part of the business model with regards to the school community itself. Putting that stuff there so that it helps those. It's more tailored. I'll probably ramble on even longer in some of that stuff from time to time. The monthly live calls, there may be a bit more. So those are sort of scheduled for about an hour and a half each time. Once a month, there'll be the community forum. There's different little categories where people with different questions or queries or input can add into there as well. So hopefully it can create something that's useful, valuable for those that are looking at that sort of pathway. It's open to people that aren't necessarily looking at that as well. I just put it down as the quiet professionals, those that may want to just look at, I don't know, trying to take something away from um, what people in that space might apply and how they might apply or look at things, or how they might look to try to solve problems or approach things and have more of a solutions focus rather than whinging and moaning and complaining about why things can't get done, delving into leadership and followership and a whole bunch of things of that nature in there, which definitely apply to the unit, but also, can be applied across a whole number of fields, which I've been really blessed and fortunate to serve and throw my head in the ring in a number of different areas. So, so that's where that is. There'll be all going well. So just need to work out the logistics and the security, the slash privacy of this aspect, but interviews and insights with active members and or former members, and hopefully including those that have been on selection, either passed or completed it but not been selected or failed altogether, to get their insights for those, again, for those candidates that may be genuinely looking at going that path. So rather than posting that on the normal YouTube channel, I think I'll be keeping that in that part of the community anyway, with regards to information. So obviously it'll protect their identities as well, especially those that are current serving. And sometimes it may just be a blurred face or them not even on camera and just their voice, their audio responses to questions that come through. Those questions can be a mix of from the community, those that are in there, and those that are yet to or preparing to go on selection, including if they're not preparing to go on selection. Some of the questions may just be thrown from me for my own curiosity and understanding, and and we'll just play it by ear and see how that goes. Main parts obviously is just making sure that we keep their privacy and all that sort of stuff intact. So so there's no issues for them. Those former members, as long as they're okay with having their identity shown on camera and that sort of thing, then cool. We'll look to show their faces, and then they can share their responses to some of the things that come through as well. Still on the school, so be delving into some of the other things that people have found it, well, I suppose, have a curiosity in, that disconnection. Sort of once you're out of the unit and trying to find your way when you're no longer, I guess, part of a tribe that's got your back. That you sort of, I found myself multiple times post my time in the service, and even post my time in the private security sector too, because I was working with, again, high level guys that had your back. I still had a connection to a tribe that they had all come through the same sort of backgrounds and training and experience to just a different world where people seemed more concerned and more interested in their own rise and success, I suppose, for want of a better term. And yeah, that took some. I don't know that I ever got used to it, but that takes some getting used to. So delving into some of that stuff, relationship stuff, both family and professional relationships, um, the need to compromise, and stuff in and around identity and purpose. So just again, why that stuff to try to give those that, I don't know, they're those that are genuine, but also it may be a place for those that former members, whether they're veterans in general or whatever, might find some similarity or a place whereby they can, I don't know, contribute and still be serving in a meaningful way, if that makes sense. Not so much because they need help or anything like that. I think there's far better services and tools and resources out there than my little school community. But you know, well, I like to think there is anyway. But yeah, maybe a place where they can still add their voice and give some counsel, guidance, wisdom, try and pass some of that on to whether it's future generations or people that, you know, may need to hear something at a certain time, whatever that is. Yeah, a few things. Punching above the weight and a whole bunch of things. I saw somebody put that in one of the comments in regards to the part three. No particular order. Thanks for the kind comments that have come through from those that have taken time too. Yeah, some really heartwarming comments in there. So here, one of the fellas said, "Have you ever used? I don't know if you have the term punching where you're from. I think it's from the UK, but yeah, we have it punching above your weight, and it was in regards to my sweetheart, to my wife. Yeah, definitely punching above my weight. um, what else is there? Yeah, those are some of the, I guess, the touch points on here. This one's more just a comment, and this might give a little bit of context to just some of the messages. This is actually a comment after, I suppose, the videos that have gone up, the announcement with regards to school and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, not feeling ready and just, oh man, I want to have at least, 20 videos in the classroom sort of thing before I go live. It's like, oh, bloody hell, that might take me another 3-4 months to get that sorted out. Hopefully not that long, but I just figured, well, should be practicing what I preach, eh? So let's just dive in and see what happens. So I'm enjoying it anyway. So I don't think whether there's a niche for it, if that's the right term, whether there's a market or a niche for it, I don't know. I haven't done any research on it. I've just gone off the variety of questions that I still receive, which I'm grateful to get, and some interactions with some good people who I'm lucky enough to try to provide some mentorship to at the moment. And they mentioned the school community to me. This was a while ago now, but I sort of didn't really worry about it. And then it wasn't until these other messages have been coming through, I thought, oh man, well, maybe there's something here. So maybe the world is trying to tell me something. And it just reiterated to me some of the conversations that I'd had. And then I sat back, looked at the messages that I've been receiving thought about the conversations that I've had, and thought, man, what would I want? Would I want something like this if I was teleported back and preparing for selection? If I had access to something like this, if somebody was willing to give me the no fluff, like this is what you need, this is what you need to watch out for, these are some of the concerns, blah blah blah, etc., would I take the time to go and consume that? And for me, when I sat down and thought about that, my immediate thought was yes. I would look to try to find out as much as I could to help me prepare. I don't think I would have been looking at it to help me with my decision, because I'll be honest, my decision was already made when I was 14. Like, that's where I wanted to go. That's all I wanted to do, and that's the only reason I joined the army. So I don't think it would have been from that perspective, but to get a more of an insight in terms of what to look out for, I probably would have jumped in. So when I answered that question, I started thinking, I started trying to think through really what can I offer, because it's not a course, not providing a training course. Although there may be, people may take notes and they may be able to apply it to their situation, which is cool. But I started to drill down into what my why was when I went, what my preparation looked like, what some of the struggles and challenges were in terms of lack of information, and then scattered information, and then the responsibility that I needed to take to go and find the information, compile that in the way that it flowed logically and as close to what I could expect for selection here in NZ. I'll talk about Australia later if I remember in this live, and then see what my weaknesses were and then start attacking those. So, and then all the other stuff has just been, lived experience that have been some not so good, some really great, some really awesome stuff. And then hopefully with that, some lessons and learnings for people to take away and go, oh, yep, store that one in the old memory bank. I'm not going to be an egg when they tell me to go do a promotion course like Joe was. So that sort of thing is, there's needing to dust off the old archives a little bit up in the head and pull that stuff out and start going through and try and make it as useful and as valuable so people get their money's worth for that community as possible. So yeah, anyway, I didn't even bloody read this comment. So it's got here, hey Joe, just a quick message to say, I hope everything goes well with your school community. What an incredible opportunity for any aspiring candidate to have access to information like what you are and will be providing. Well, I hope so. I'd jump in if I wasn't an old fart. In saying that, I may still jump in just to watch the content on there as well as show my support. Mana wave to you and your beautiful family, mate. Cheers. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much, eh? It's kind comments, messages, and that one come through today on the back end of the announcement video that's up. What else is coming up? So still plenty of reaction videos and still working through the requests while adding to the list as well. So there's a bunch of requests coming through. I'll get to the Rob O'Neill one because some people asked some questions about that, or have sent through some questions. There'll probably be, so even though the upload days dialed back Mondays and Fridays, I think this week I put that part 3 of the no particular order, no specific order up on Wednesday. And a couple of videos went up today. With one of them was a rerun which was only available on the members only, which was Christian Craighead, I think, Obi-Wan Nairobi, and then the other one was the Cleared Hot podcast. So some of the videos that are scheduled to come up are they're not reruns, they just weren't available on the public channel before because they were only available on the members. So apologies to some of those members that may have seen some of the uploads that will be going up over the next few weeks, maybe even next couple of months. So that's why I'll try and chuck in an extra one middle of the week on a Wednesday or something like that. So we'll see. Probably be quite a few shorts going up, just something I've been trying to play with and utilize recently, which you may have seen. I put out a post saying I won't be spamming everybody, and then next minute I'm spamming you all with the shorts. So apologies about that, but there'll be more trying to use some of the long form content that I make and then just clip bits of it and then whack that out there and see how that goes. So that's the update on sort of what was the question? Yeah, what's coming up and what's going on. Or more of an update from me, but a few people have been curious. What's the date for the next reckoning? Is the next one Saturday, the 11th of April? That's if it goes ahead. You're right. I haven't been doing any marketing or advertising on it like I probably should if I want it to run. What's my thoughts on that? Yeah, I want it to run, but I'm not fussed either way, right? So I understand it's a big financial commitment and investment from anybody that wants to jump on that and get smashed for 30 hours. and test themselves. And if they get through that, only come away with a T-shirt and a coin. So I yeah, I really don't care if it runs or not, and hence why I haven't really been putting a lot of time into promoting that or pumping out the dates or whatever. In saying that, maybe I'll do a video or something, or prep a video this weekend or something like that. We'll see how we go, and then look to put up a video next week just as an update, or maybe it'll just be a post, a community YouTube post. So see how that goes, because I think the post, because that probably won't take as much time. So Saturday, the 11th of April, is when the next 30-hour reckoning experience is scheduled. But again, I haven't booked anything, and I'm not going to book anything unless I get the minimum numbers, and unless those minimum numbers pay their fee up front and they understand that there's no refund. So I don't want it to be like the first one, the inaugural one, and maybe just a one and done where 7 signed up and only 2 showed up. 7 paid, 5 didn't get a refund, but they also didn't get the opportunity to participate, which sucks. But anyway, got a question on here, so I'll spend actually, I think I answered this one, but I'll read it out. He's got here, the selection for SASR and Commando do the same selection now. So pretty sure he's talking about the Australian unit. Actually, this might be the same person who sent through the cadence query. How did I improve my cadence, push-ups and pull-ups? Anyway, sorry, I digress. The selection for SASR and Commando do the same selection now. Does that lose its uniqueness and speciality within SASR? Question mark, question mark. So the short answer to that would be, from what I understand, would be no. The uniqueness of SASR is still very much its own thing. Then you've got the Commandos, and then what was it, Special Operations Engineer Regiment? So I think there may be 3, and then they come under Special Operations Command, and being an asset overall for that particular space, rather than a unit asset. So rather than a SASR unit asset or Commando unit asset, they fall under that Special Operations Command sort of asset umbrella. From what little I understand, again, I haven't done a lot of deep diving into it. I did mention when this came up before, but the question wasn't around uniqueness, what my thoughts were around it, and I said personally I don't like it. I still feel that way. So in terms of this question, though, does it lose its uniqueness? I don't think it does, based on what I've heard and bits and pieces that I understand about it. But what are my general overall thoughts about it? Do I like it? My answer is still no. Again, largely because I don't know a lot about it, but I do like, and I've always liked how there was always a distinction between the two. Here's a Commando selection. It's shorter. It's still going to be challenging and hard. Disclaimer, not that I've done the Commando selection. I may have been fortunate enough to go and serve in 4 RAR Commando unit at the time when I was there, but I didn't do the 4 RAR Commando selection. So just putting that out there. So I assume it would still be hard, but it wasn't as long, and in my opinion, without having done the 4 RAR Commando, so take it with a pinch of salt, it may not have been as hard. Maybe just purely due to the fact that it wasn't as long. But in saying that, maybe it was just as hard, and they crammed it into a shorter period of time. But I never did the Commando one, so I'll never know. Anyway, he carries on, from an outsider like myself, I've always seen the SAS, whether it's UK, New Zealand, or Australia, very different, and top of the sharping point when it comes to tier 1 and their selection in general. So I'm just wondering, what's your view on this new program and your opinion on the new joint selection process? He's got, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I don't, I've not been called sir before, but thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. Although some people, usually in the army, we would take that as an insult. So yeah, my general thoughts are, I don't like it. I would have liked that it stayed separate and distinct, but I guess they have their reasons for what they're trying to do. I believe you've still got to, and I'll just give my take on this. I know there's a number of people out there that provide some really good information in and around that, and applying for all 3. Because it's a joint selection, apply for all 3, even though you might want to go to SASR, still apply for Commandos or apply for the engineers, Special Operations Engineers Regiment, just in case, because if you only put down one and you fail to meet that criteria, or whether it's aptitude testing, whether it's the physical assessment process, whether it's the entry testing, all that sort of stuff, or whether it's you ultimately fail the elements during the selection and you've only selected one option, then from what I understand or what I've heard, then that's it. So if you fail to meet the required criteria for SASR, and that's all you put down, but you may have met the criteria or been suitable for commandos or engineer regiment, then apparently you just sort of, okay, well, that's it. He's not interested in anything else, so uh, you're done. Go back to your unit. Whereas some of those people, I guess, might still be happy with going to the commando unit or to the Special Operations Engineer Regiment. So, for me, I suppose I don't even like that aspect. Um, I think anybody that's genuine about the SAS or about the commandos, like that's where you want to be. So that's what I would put down. I think if I had that option when I was going through, I like even now as I think about it, I can't see myself choosing all three in terms of trying to hedge my bets personally, just in case I didn't get to the SASR or to the SAS. Like I said, the only reason I joined the army was to join the SAS, and if I couldn't do it, and I wasn't able to do it in New Zealand, then I went to Australia. So, and if I wasn't able to do it in Australia, I would have got out of the army. Yeah, I didn't sign up to join the commandos. No disrespect to the commando unit at all, or to the operators in there. Some wonderful people in that in there, awesome operators, but that wasn't what I joined up for. I did have that question when I was in 4RA. They're like, "Why don't you just stay here?" Like, I, there were some guys that said, well, we're probably just as good, if not better. And I thought, oh, geez, that's a bit cheeky. It was coming from some guys in the commando unit. Now, yeah, whatever their thoughts were, I didn't engage in that. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, no, I came over to join the Australian SAS regiment. That's where I want to be. So I'm here for now because this is where I need to be. And yeah, but as soon as I get an opportunity, I'm gone. So yeah, as far as hedging bets, individual choice, eh? If that's what you want to do, if that's how you roll, and you think, okay, I want to hedge my bets, and just in case I don't get commandos or whatever, yeah, do what you feel is right. But nah, that's not for me. Probably along the lines of that part 3 where people ask me, didn't you feel like, what about burning bridges and all that sort of stuff? That saying, burn the boats. Yeah. Well, I probably burnt the boats, say, here in NZ when I refused multiple offers to go back and just do half the cycle again. And then I was like, yeah, no. Nah. So no, I would have burnt the boats in Australia as well. Like I just wanted to go to SASR and nowhere else. Not once I, did selection anyway. So once I got that opportunity. So anyway, that's my take. Don't know if that, well, hopefully that answers your question. That's the best I've got. I think I answered a similar question. Yeah, it might have been a comment in the chat on the live. Cleared Hot podcast with Rob O'Neill. This one is just more comment. It was good to see your reaction to Rob O'Neill on the Cleared Hot podcast. Will be great if you can do more reactions to Andy's channel. Yeah, for sure. And that guy, I don't know a lot about Andy, but man, he runs a good show, eh? And seems very straight down the line, like with regards to what he's doing and how he's questioning. This one here, they come through a kind channel supporter. He's got on here, this is in regards to the Cleared Hot podcast. He put some comments on my reaction. First one, have you ever heard of someone in Australia/New Zealand, SAS, lying in an AAR, so after action review or report? In short, for me, no, I haven't. I haven't heard of anybody lying from NZ or Australia. Does that mean that it hasn't happened? Yeah, I don't know, so, but I've never heard of it. If I had, so I'll put this out here now, if I'd heard of that, unless I was interviewing or speaking to somebody that's from one of those units and they've brought it up, I wouldn't even be delving down that path and trying to find out. The only thing that I can think of whereby I would be looking to go down a rabbit hole to find out the truth, as if I was involved in it somewhere. And if the information or the story being provided was wrong or incorrect, that's probably the only time that I'd be like, get my back up and go, what the bloody hell's going on here? Who said this? Like, that's not what happened. Otherwise, yeah, nah, I wouldn't be touching it or looking into it personally. What would happen if it was found out, be kicked out? Yeah, I think so. Well, I'd like to think. I'd like to think. You know, you lie in after action review, um, blatant, serious lies. Like, see you later. The trust is gone, in my opinion. So, for what that's worth, yeah, you want to be there with people that have got your back. Now, in terms of what Rob was talking about, his brothers for life, and he wasn't going to throw them under the bus because they threw rounds into UBL after the fact, after he was already dead. That, I think I mentioned on the reaction, that responsibility and that piece of integrity sits squarely on the shoulders of the person or persons that did that, not for Rob. Rob's only part in that is once those guys speak up and say, oh yeah, and after Rob shot him or whatever, I then come up and then bloody canoed him in the head after. He was already dead. That's what I did. The only part in that I see Rob responsible or answering to, if those other guys that did that, if that's what happened, had the courage to speak up, is just confirming yes or no whether that's what happened. So, Rob, is that what happened? Did you see operator whatever do that? And be like, yes, sir, that's what happened, just as he described, or whatever. So, yeah. Anyway, I'd like to think they'd be kicked out for lying. What do you think the consequences should be for lying, like spoken about? And oh yeah, get kicked out. See you later. Ka kits, maybe a mana wave, maybe not, maybe something else instead. um, but yeah, that's my take. I know. Oh yeah, you've got it here. Problem with lying is it can cause problems despite good intent. So when I listen to Rob speaking, yeah, you know, good intent there. Like I'll be honest, it sounds like good intent. Apart from the fact that he speaks a bloody bazillion miles an hour, I think there was genuine good intent there, and probably still is. Like, he's not naming the guys, but that shouldn't be put on Rob's shoulders or any other team member's shoulders. It sits squarely on the shoulders of the person that decided to drill in those extra rounds after UBL had already been taken out in that instance. So yeah, there can be good intent, but it just, yeah, the lies just sort of tend to come back around, and then you've got all that humbug happening between, I shouldn't call it humbug, I don't know the whole story, but the lawsuit and all that sort of stuff happening between the Antihero podcast, well, initiated by Rob O'Neill, from what I understand, towards the Antihero podcast, and Brent Tucker and his co-host Tyler, I forget Tyler's surname, with what they were doing. Anyway, Rob and ST6 is experiencing this firsthand. Yep, damaged credibility. Yeah, for sure. And I think Andy does a good job of that. Wow, I can't remember how he summed it up, but he summed it up great anyway. Around the problem with what you're doing now can be perceived as, okay, I lied then, but I'm telling the truth now, so you should believe me now. So yeah, I think the credibility is just sort of out the window. And one of the guys that's kind enough to support my channel too mentioned in the comments, it casts a shadow and paints all other similar units in the same light, and that's an unfair thing to have happen. So whether it's the UKSF, NZSF, Australian SF, I think it's unfortunate that that's happened anyway, and disappointing. So what's he got here? Oh, and then the last one, past and future operators will have increased suspicion on them. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think I mentioned in the reaction, I would have personally just been happy knowing SEAL Team 6 took out UBL. Awesome. Same with, like what's happened with regards to Delta and what's happened over there. Was it Venezuela? And their operation there. That's all I need to know personally. Um, yeah, I don't think we need to know anything else. And so, based on other stuff that they've done, and even just their selection in general, uh, I like to think that those things are probably going to stay, yeah, pretty quiet and in house as they should, which is great. On here, so we got. Sorry, I haven't gone through the comments yet. I will come and have a look at those. I'm just going through these first. Shout out William Keith, mate. Thank you very much. I'm not even sure if you're on the chat right now, or on the live, I should say, not the chat. But he's done a write up, which he's said that I kindly said that I could share on my channel. So I'll look to do that at some point. I'll be breaking that up into parts. But he's done a write up called The Humble Shepherd, and it's about Mr. Charles Hazlitt Upham, VC and Bar. And MID, what's that, mentioned in dispatches, I think. So double VC winner, Charles Upham, Sir Charles Upham. So yeah, it's cool. I've started reading bits and pieces of it when you're giving a little bit of background and context, and the hardworking nature of Mr. Upham and that sort of thing in the first page or two or whatever. And then I've sort of paused there, so it helps. Well, it helped me anyway when I was reading it, set the scene for what I'm sure is going to be epic when I go through and read what you've written. So thanks very much for that, Billy. Mr. William Keith, appreciate your time and support as always, and for sending that through. So I'll get to that. This one's a question. Hey Joe, whereabouts are your reactions that you did to BRS gone? So there's Ben Robert Smith. Those that might not be sure, have you taken them down? Pretty sure I spoke about this in a live a while ago as well. So no, I haven't taken them down. They are blocked by YouTube, not by me, and they're sitting in the back end, or they're just sitting where all the content is on my channel, because I can't do anything about it. Yeah, I have spoken about this. I sent an email to YouTube, been no reply on that, so maybe I'll send another one. But just asking what the go is. Doesn't matter if it's not monetized. Like I don't mind that being up there. I talk about my biases and that sort of thing, and I put it up there. So yeah, a few a few hours worth of work put into those as well, because I didn't get it done in one hit. But they're not showing, so they're just sitting in the back end blocked. Anyway, this one's a question: will you be doing the rest of the Commando on the Frontline series? I appreciated your reaction to the 55-year-old Commando video. Cheers, mate. Yes, I will look to be there. They're still on the list, so they're definitely in the reactions list to do pile, and I will get to those when I can. There was I almost got a copyright strike, just for your info, on that 55-year-old Commando. I've had copyright claims come up before, but I've usually, like, I reply and then I put down the information in terms of reaction video, blah blah blah. I've got hundreds of other videos do sort of similar stuff. Yeah, please let me know. As far as I was aware, it came under the fair use and it was okay. But please let me know if there's anything else I need to do. And so then they come back and challenged it. So then I appealed it, and then they come back and still, yeah, they weren't happy about it again and just said, yeah, no. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So to avoid getting a copyright strike, the video's still there, but I just withdrew my appeal. So I couldn't be bothered trying to, they didn't respond to me with any specifics or any other specifics, like some of the other people have when it's been in relation to music or not downloading the license and then showing them. So all of those things have been sorted out on a whole bunch of other videos, even though they appealed it, came back, but they outlined exactly what I needed to do. So then I went away and got that sorted out, and then went back and then sent them the information. They were like, oh, okay, cool, we'll remove our claim, which they did. But this one here, yeah, they're like, nah. So I was like, oh, well. And that's that. Got through those. That's the information on there. Sorry, now I'm coming back and having a look. Hey, kia ora, everybody. Presents in here soon. Cheers, Dan. I'll jump on the course when you are doing it. I know it will benefit me with my journey to Army and further tests. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, thanks for that info. Yeah, appreciate that feedback. So yeah, that's all up and live now. Those that want to have a look, as my older brother used to say, onward warrior. Yeah, nice. All the best with the new school, Joe. Thank you, Christian. Any updates for the reckoning? Oh yeah, I did that. Saturday, the 11th of April is when that date is due. Afternoon, Joe and everyone. Sorry, I'm late to the party. No, you're all good, Billy. I just mentioned you earlier. You may have missed it, but appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much for the Charles Hazlitt Upham, Sir Charles Upham. Double VC winner and MID. So I'll get to that. I will be 34 next year when I finish my degree. That's awesome. Is it still a good age to join the army and future and further to SAS? You're right, mate. Daughter trying to sneak past. I was like, mate, like if anything, that's a great time. Early 30s to mid 30s. I'll be honest, a lot of guys that go in, and that are still in there, a lot of guys are feeling like they're just in their prime at that age. So, yeah, a good time. Well, I hope you and yours are doing great, brother. Yeah, likewise. Great to catch you live. Yeah, thank you for being here. So basically, I'll be 35. I'll get selective basic trainers. I'm planning to join Army after next year. Is it still not too late? Yeah, no, like I said, I don't think that's too late at all. Early to mid 30s, great time. Like I said, one of the lads who's still there now, he turned 38 or 39 on my cycle. So, yeah, you got plenty of time. And that person is still serving now. So, yeah. What's this? Any word on you going to the Zero Limits podcast? Any word on you going to the Zero Limits podcast? What's that about? Cliff Shaw. No, not that I know of, bro. Dink Design Hojo, could you talk about if it is possible to have a family while in the unit without external help? Oh, what a great question. My initial thought and take on that, is it possible to have a family while in the unit without external help? My initial response is yes, but it's hard, to be honest. And some of this stuff goes into a bit more detail in the school content. It's challenging. It's hard. Like you're sort of, you as the person that's in the unit is going to work. You love the job. It's awesome. You come home. You can't talk about it though. You're not talking about it with your loved one or with your children or anything like that. Not that, like, our children were too young anyway to even know what was happening. And then your spouse. This is why a lot of people recommend that if you're in the unit and you don't have a lot of family support, that you live in the housing area. So you live not on base, but close to base, because then you have other wives. If you've got children, they can interact with those children, and you've got a bit of a support network. We didn't have any family when we went to Perth, and neither of us, my wife and I, wanted to live in the housing area. So we didn't live in the housing area when we were in the army here in NZ, and we didn't want to live in the housing area when we were in the army in Australia. So we didn't. We moved, still in a defence house, but we moved to the northern suburbs, north of Scarborough, maybe about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic, in a place called Balcatta, or opposite Balcatta, Duncraig, Balcatta. And that's where we lived. But hard also from that perspective for your spouse or partner, because then they've got nobody to talk to. My wife's world was our one child at the time, then the second child, then the third child, and then heavily pregnant with the fourth and that sort of thing by the time I got out. So the challenge is real for both sides. And then depending on what age your children are, like if they're older, like it's not easier when they're newborns. It's still a lot of work, but it's a lot of work on the partner that's at home, if that makes sense, unless your partner's working and you put them in daycare, which we never did. So that throws up a lot of challenges. So I don't want to go too far or off topic too much, but if it's possible to have a family while in the unit without external help, yes it is, but it's hard. It is hard. The other thing also, which I'll mention here, so without external help, technically, there was help through at the time when I was going to church with my wife. Haven't gone to church for a long time. I'm not a member. I'm not practicing in any of that. But my wife still is. And so for her, she had, we had friends and stuff there. We still have friends and stuff there that are members of the church and that sort of thing, even though I'm not. And they were just, it was good, I suppose, from that context, which kept my wife busy with things in that space, service orientated, kept her busy doing other things that weren't just purely focused on the children, if that makes sense. So support wise though, there was always offers there, but there wasn't support in terms of, we'll look after your children and that sort of thing. Although we probably could have done that if we had have asked somebody there, but we just didn't. We just really kept to ourselves, did church on Sunday, did what we needed to do. There was a little bit of stuff that happened outside of that during the weekdays, but not too much, or at least not for me anyway, probably more so for my wife at that time. And then just did our own thing, focused on us. So I didn't realize how lonely it was for my wife though till later on. So that's where I would go with trying to wrap that piece up in terms of your question, which is a really good one. So thank you for that. Dink Design. Kia ora, Joe. Dave, hope all is well, bro. Like your content with the knives. I haven't been putting a lot of comments on there, but I've been giving them thumbs up with all the stuff that you've been putting up there. So awesome work, bro, and great to see your channel growing too. Olin Keith on the live. Christian Maver. Joe, did you serve with Rob Mailer? Yeah, I did. I noticed he follows you on Insta. Great bloke. He wrote, was also involved in the action in which Mark Donaldson was awarded the VC details in his. Oh, okay, yeah. I served with Rob. Where did I first meet him? Was it at 4RER, or maybe it was at before I went on selection, or maybe it was during cycle. So he was just one cycle after mine, but we ended up doing the CQB stuff all together. So his cycle cohort and mine. So I'm not sure how or why that worked out that way, but yeah, we ended up on the same cycle for that course, for that particular course, even though we were on different selections and different cycles overall. But yeah, awesome guy, good guy. Charlie29, looking tanned. Am I? Thank you. Must have been out in the sun and getting on the treadmill. Thank you so much for your ongoing support and for always taking the time to share experience here in NZ as well. If I were to choose the most... Too kind, bro. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question about family. Really helpful. Hey, you're welcome, mate. Very welcome. And that's it, team. What's the Zero Limits interviews a lot of ex-Australian NZ operators, police, ambos, etc. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what, Cliff? I think I don't have access to it anymore, but I think they may have reached out to me maybe a few years ago when I was still here in NZ, but up in Auckland, maybe around about the time I was doing the Epic podcast with my brother-in-law. Zero Limits, it sounds familiar for some reason. It didn't end up working out or lining up. It was probably me that dropped the ball on that, to be honest. But yeah, no, I haven't. Yeah, I don't think I'm on their radar to be interviewed or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think I'm on anybody's radar. But from what I hear, I think they've got a pretty good show. I think Nick may have been on that podcast, maybe a few other guys. So wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. My soap tune. Hey Joe, how was your week? Yep, great week. Question for you from, and then nothing. Question for you from, and then nothing else. How different was the Oz cycle from the NZ, and did you feel like you had an advantage doing cycle for the? Yeah, 100%. It was different in a lot of ways. I think I'll talk about that in whichever part I get up to in the no specific order. But here, very, very quickly, like very less, I would say less stressful. I found it less stressful, and I think part of that goes hand in hand with the fact that I felt like I had an advantage. I think I've always mentioned that. I definitely felt like I had an advantage, not only for the Australian selection, but also for the cycle. Even though the selections are very different and the cycles are run a bit different, it helps having some mental scarring from being in some dark places physically and mentally, and then knowing that you can, um, with confidence in yourself, with some belief in yourself, and just taking one step at a time and then breaking everything down, that you can overcome it and come out the other side. So definitely felt like I had an advantage. Back to the cycle, yeah, less stressful. It was NZ, bro. I felt like I was always walking on eggshells, especially as a young, probably if not the youngest for my cohort for cycle at that time. Then I was definitely one of the youngest. So I just turned 21 on my cycle that year of cycle in NZ. And so I always felt like I'm like the the this young little kid and amongst all these men, sergeants, corporals, 5, 6 year army veterans, an infantry recce platoon support company, and here I am, a little baggy Lincoln private from a rifle company who's only been in 2 minutes in the battalion. So doubling everywhere. You never felt I never felt comfortable on the NZ cycle. I think really the only time I breathed a sigh of relief was when we all got given our berets and we got to go shape them before the beret parade. And then even when we handed those in with the masking tape and our names on it, even when I got called back up to go to the office for what would be unfortunately the news that I got, I was still excited. Like I felt like just this massive relief and excitement. So yeah, in Australia, not that I was relaxed or felt relieved, the learning environment was really cool. Like Australia just thrashed us on the selection, and Nick Caldwell articulated this really well when my brother-in-law interviewed him, and his take from it and his experience, because he spent more time in the unit. He was still in the unit once I got out as well. I think he might have even gone back in for a little bit after he'd gotten out too. Maybe I might be wrong on that. But he summed it up well in saying that, in Australia, they've already identified that you can be flogged and that you can still be there at the end, that you have that internal drive to keep going, regardless of how miserable it gets. On cycle, now they're trying to create an environment, or they've created an environment which is adapted and tailored to helping people learn and absorb the information as well as they can. Actually, hey, babe, can you turn the oven off in there? Oh, yeah, thank you. I made a bread and yeah, it's been sitting in the oven. Anyway, where was I? So the cycle, they've created this environment whereby, yeah, it's really geared towards helping those that are on cycle now, because it's stressful with all the courses enough as it is, to be able to absorb and take in the information. So they want you to learn it, and they're trying to set you up for success. So if you, my opinion, based on my experience there, if you get removed from cycle there or you fail something, then they have done the best job they could do in trying to get you to that standard. But if you're not meeting it, then yeah, it is what it is, and you get removed and get sent back to your unit. So I think maybe in the NZ process, it's geared like that as well, in terms of they're trying to set you up, they're teaching you, but it doesn't feel, thank you, but it doesn't feel, it just never feels comfortable. It feels like you're going to get a tap on the shoulder any day and get told you're out of here, like go pack your room, you're heading back to your unit, here's your posting, see you later, thanks but no thanks. Yeah, I just never had that feeling in Australia. Maybe other guys did. Maybe guys that whereby it was their first time on the Australian cycle, maybe they felt like that. I definitely didn't. It was very different. Also, the other part, which why I say that, is the instructors in Australia during cycle, we're allowed to call them by their nickname, like first name and or nickname. There's no way you would call in any directing staff in NZ on cycle by their nickname or their first name. It's just staff the whole time till you, if you're still there at the end. Staff or sir, depending on what their rank is. If they're a trooper, or in other words, private, everybody's staff, corporal, sergeant, or staff. If they're an officer, usually sir. But yeah, none of that in Australia. So it took, I've mentioned this before, caught me off guard. I was suspicious. I thought they're trying to set me up so that they could kick me out. But no, they weren't. They weren't. It's just the environment again that they had created. I don't know if it's still like that now. But if you get through selection, read the room. Um, if the instructors invite you and allow you to call them by their nickname or their first name, fill your boots, go for it. If they don't, stick with what you've been using or how you've been referring to them during selection, sir or staff, whatever the term is over there these days. So hopefully that helps. Yep. One day, hopefully. Cheers for the vids, bro. You're welcome. Thank you. I said, whoops. From what I've seen in videos, is there a reason that commanding officers change every few years in the SAS? Seems to be a new CEO every video. Sorry for my broken comment. True. Yeah. So that officer space is different. Well, it was during my time, and I'm pretty sure it's still like that now. Officers have there's like, and I'm not an officer, I've never been an officer, so I'm just going off the officers that I know. Depending on how certain officers perform at different stages. So if I use Burnsy as an example over in Australia, he was my OC. He was a major, he was a squadron OC for one squadron at the time when I was in. He became the commanding officer of the regiment however many years after. Not surprising. All of us there in one squadron at the time were like, yeah, he's going to be the CEO. Like, just a matter of time. But they get posted around different places and they have other responsibilities and other, what's the term, I suppose, and I don't know the official term, but other, responsibilities, requirements that they need to fulfill. Obligations is probably the term. They have other obligations that they need to fulfill as part of their career pathway and journey and their progression in terms of what they've signed up for and what they're looking to do. Excuse me. ORs, on the other hand, like me, a pleb like me, if you go in as a private, become a trooper, you can stay there. Like, there is, unless there's a posting that you want to do, or there's something that you might get a tap on the shoulder and they go, hey, would you consider going and doing this posting over here for this period of time, whatever. You pretty much just ride and die and live out your whole career in the unit, as long as you're still able to do it, as long as you still want to do it as well. And you can stay there. So it's very different, officers to ORs. That's probably as much detail as I'll get into here without rambling on too long. Hopefully that helps, bro. Officers' career progression requires them to move on every 2 to 4 years. Yeah. So they do have that. Some try to extend it out as long as they can. Maybe some that are successful, not often though. So pretty much like Cliff Shaw X has mentioned here. So yeah, I didn't realize it was 2 to 4 years. I thought it might have been a little bit more for some reason, but hey, that's all good. Thanks for that. Thanks for adding that in. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that helps. Wow, that's 58 minutes. Hopefully you got something from my kōrero here on this live. Appreciate you all. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you for, hey, hang on. That's the one last part I forgot to do here too. Bloody hell. Where is it? Just a thank you. Bloody hell, I have to check my notes. I'm glad I wrote it down. Massive thank you to those, I think there's 11 of you that have been kind enough to take on the channel supporter membership and pay I think I put down $1.99 on there. Thank you very much. Appreciate those that have taken the time to sign up for that. Wasn't expected, but I appreciate those that sent the encouragement for me to whack something up. Some of you sent me some comments saying I didn't expect it to just be $2. What was I doing? That's staying where it is. But yeah, thank you all. I appreciate the time that you have. And the money that you've parted with. Some people might say, oh, it's only $2. Mate, at the end of the day, that's $2 that you've done something somewhere for to earn that. So you parting with that and putting it towards the channel memberships of my channel, knowing that you're not getting anything in return, like no specific perk or anything like that, means a lot. So thank you very much. So anyway, that being said, yeah, the message is always the same, regardless of any challenges, trials, any of you may be going through out there, man, just Yep, it sucks, can be lonely, can be miserable, can be hard, but just keep turning up, stay in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, take one day at a time. Things can do and will get better, I promise you. Even though they may suck right now, things always get better if you want them to. So just stick at it. The sun will shine again like it is here in Te Whanganui-a-Tara, Pōneke, Porirua, Wellington, Aotearoa, New Zealand. Sun has been out today. Maybe that's why I look a little bit more tanned, according to Charlie 29. And yeah, just keep fighting. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. So as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. Have an awesome weekend. I hope there wasn't more questions to come through. Oh, there is. Would the SAS take part in law enforcement operations like drug busts to get real-world experience during peacetime? And then mana from thing. There is some stuff there. I can't speak for NZ. There is some stuff that was happening whilst I was still in the regiment, which I unfortunately didn't get to take part in. It's a sort of different a group of operators within the regiment itself. So I'm pretty sure that still happens to this day, and there is some collaboration, for want of a better term, between TRG and that sort of stuff in the regiment with different aspects because of the potential need whereby the threat risk may increase and they may need to combine. So anyway, I just waffled on when I was just finished off the sign off, but thank you for the question. See you later. End stream, there it is. But yeah, I've been doing this weekly now. I should know where all the buttons are.